Hello and welcome to the World of Football YouTube channel. I am your host, Adam Snow, and I want to welcome you to Arena Football League Weekly, a weekly show here on the channel where I talk about the Arena Football League and everything that happened this past week. And of course, this week we're going to be talking about Week 4. What we won't be talking about is the game that we were supposed to go to this past weekend, that being me and my dad, as we went to Minneapolis over the weekend to go see the Minnesota Myth take on the Wichita Regulators. But as we all know, the Minnesota Myth are now a myth and no longer exist. And despite me wearing my Minnesota Myth shirt around Minneapolis, nobody knew that team at all. Nobody had ever heard of them. Nobody even said anything about them. So that kind of stinks. It does stink that we went all that way to not go to a arena football game, but hopefully we can rectify that in the future. Looking at you, Nashville Cats and Albany Firebirds, we might be coming to see you in a couple of weeks. But yeah, guys, without further ado, I do want to remind everybody out there that we do have a couple of podcasts that we do here on this channel. The first being the one that I do with my dad called This Week in the World of Football, where we talk all things in the world of football. And we just released an episode on Randy's birthday of all days. Happy birthday to him, of course. We talk about a lot of things, including some arena football stuff on there. So if you are interested in that, please go check out that podcast. You can subscribe to that wherever good podcasts can be found. And also, my brother-in-law and I, we do a Detroit Lions podcast. So if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you should go check us out. Even if you're not, Kyle can be pretty funny sometimes. Last week we talked about the Jared Goff contract. We talked about the Lions' new schedule for the upcoming season. So if that interests you, that's also available for you to find on our podcast feed as well as this YouTube channel. So let's start off this week by recapping the scores and standings from all the Week 4 action. We're going to start with the Orlando Predators, who took out the previously unbeaten West Texas Desert Hawks 50-39. This is a game I did catch a little bit of Thursday night. This was a fun game. It looked like Orlando was back in fine form. I thought West Texas was going to be, one of the premier teams of the league. They still could be, but man, the Predators came out and gave them a heck of a fight. That was a fun game to watch. Then you had the Nashville Cats, who took care of business against the Wichita Regulators, 58-26. How about that crowd there for the Cats? They held this game in a different location than their usual stadium. We got a heck of a turnout there. And also, if you guys get a chance, go over to Arena Fan and check out some of the cool time-lapse videos that Andy Lapushnik did for Arena Fan, showing the turf and everything there on game day in Nashville. There's a couple different angles. You should check that out. Now we're going to move on. The Oregon Black Bears went into Washington and squeaked out a victory against the Washington Wolfpack 27-25. That's right. The Oregon Black Bears are back. They were dead for like 2 days, and then they were brought back. We remember last week in that press release that the league released that there was a possibility that some of the teams could, make their way back. And it seems like through whatever negotiations, what have you, that the Oregon Black Bears found a way to, get in the league's good graces and come back into the fold. Now, my theory right now is because there was a road game for the Black Bears, they're going to take a road game next week. They're going to replace the Billings Outlaws on the schedule next week. And I'm curious, and I theorize, I have not seen this officially anywhere yet, but I'm wondering if the Black Bears will be a travel team for a while until they get all their necessary boards and equipment situated. So I'm not going to say that they're going to be a pure travel team. I'm just wondering for a while if that's the case, because we know their their sideline boards have been a problem. Their rebound nets have been a problem. And now that we've had a few teams fold, I wonder if a lot of that necessary equipment's going to get out there to that arena, or maybe if they're going to move arenas. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just speculating, but we'll see what happens. And also, speaking of the Washington Wolfpack, yeah, they dropped another game, but I want to throw a shout out to them. Now that I no longer have the Minnesota Myth, I've been looking for a team to jump on the bandwagon of, and I could easily jump on the Albany Firebirds bandwagon, which I kind of want to do. I could easily jump on the bandwagon for the Nashville Cats, which I refuse to do because I'm a Grand Rapids Rampage fan first, and we beat the Nashville Cats in the Arena Bowl back in 2001, and I refuse to be a Nashville Cats fan, even though they're doing some good stuff down there. So I've decided I will back the Washington Wolfpack. I don't have any merch yet. I'm going to have to get some. I want to shout out the Washington Wolfpack's social media page because they retweeted somebody who talked about their awesome helmets, and they thanked Wicked Raps for their amazing work. And then I responded, sell me a mini helmet, because yes, I would totally love a Washington Wolfpack mini helmet. It is the best helmet in the league. And they responded to me by saying, keep spreading the word about Wolfpack football, and it may be possible. So here I am, Wolfpack Nation. I am spreading the word. Go support the Wolfpack. Yes, they're technically one of the bottom teams in the league, but with our support, they can climb back up and hopefully make the playoffs. That's where my allegiance is for the rest of the season. All right, moving on to the next game. The Billings Outlaws handed the Salina Liberty their first loss of the season, 54-35. I also caught a little bit of this in my hotel room. I did bring my own device to stream some games, so I watched a little bit of this Billings game, and I really dug the broadcast. I think it was a very crisp broadcast, and there's a really cool Billings Outlaws commercial in there too. I thought that was a lot of fun. And the Billings Outlaws might just be one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league. I have a lot of respect for their owner, who's been very vocal and very passionate about his team and this league. So shout out to you, Stephen Titus, for what you've been doing. And, it's cool seeing a team that I did have some doubts when they jumped into the Arena Football League. I had some doubts about them competing in this league, and they're doing the job, and they're doing the job extremely well. So kudos to the Billings Outlaws. And finally this week, the Albany Firebirds made easy work of the Southwest Kansas Storm, 66-15. Oof, I thought the Storm would come in and give them a little bit more of a fight, but it was just an onslaught, especially from the second play of the game for the Firebirds throwing a big touchdown pass. It was all kind of downhill from there. And at one point, I believe the Storm only managed to get 1 point on the scoreboard for a while. So just an absolutely crazy game there, a bit of a blowout. You hate to see it. And then on bye this week, the Rapid City Marshals were the only team on bye. And we're going to take a quick look at the standings, because this is absolutely fascinating to me. And I have not seen this confirmed anywhere, but it appears that the Arena Football League has now done away with the divisions. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that's official or not, but if you go to, they tweeted out these standings here on their X page. If you go to their website, the only standings you can really look at are league standings. There's no division standings. So that's utterly fascinating to me. So it sounds like they're just going to do their standings and for their seedings for the playoffs, 1 through 11. And I'm cool with that. I think that's a nice change. I'm just waiting for some sort of official confirmation that's what we're doing. And who knows, by the time this video is out, that news could be breaking. Also, so last week, we were anticipating the new interview with Jeff Fisher, the new interim commissioner of the Arena Football League. And he did the interview on the AFL podcast with G6 Sports managing member Chris Chetty. And, I listened to this interview. I watched the interview a couple times. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't totally overwhelmed with the interview. I thought it was a good interview. Definitely a lot of information in there that was very interesting, especially that it sounds like the previous commissioner, whose name I will not say now, we're going to just go a week without having to say that name. But the previous commissioner in that entity didn't fully outright buy the rights from G6 Sports like they had agreed upon, and this had been something that's been, behind the scenes for weeks, like not getting that taken care of. And so now G6 Sports kind of stepped up, made the change and all that. And that's kind of where we're at now. That's how we got Jeff Fisher in power as the commissioner. And, they talked a good game. We'll have to wait and see. Clearly a lot less turmoil this past week. There's a lot more good news than bad news, which is nice for a change, talking about the Arena Football League. But so we'll see where things go. Jeff Fisher, I have faith that he can at least guide the ship for the rest of the season. Is he a long-term solution for the league? I don't know. My theory is he isn't. He'll probably do the, finish out the season, get to the Arena Bowl, all that, have that all taken care of, and then maybe the league or G6 Sports will find a new commissioner. Hey, if you need one, I run a fantasy football league pretty well for the last 6 years. So if you need a commissioner, I might be your guy. I have no money, but I might be your guy. But so we'll see. I think they could find somebody to take the reins and send this league in the right direction. Because even after a week under Jeff Fisher, things just seem to be on, I won't say the complete up and up, but there's a lot of things going right now, and we just got to keep pushing in that direction. All right, so moving on here, I want to talk about something. I listen to a show now and then on out of Albany called Levac and Goz. We've mentioned this show on my show before, the show before. It's co-hosted by Albany Firebirds president Jeff Levac, and he gave a couple cool tidbits during their show on Monday, one of which was that the playoffs might be going to the highest seed hosting lowest seed kind of thing, making it sound like that it will not be neutral site games. Thank goodness. That's take that with a grain of salt. I'm sure that hasn't been confirmed yet, but we'll see where that goes. And he also mentioned, I think the big thing here is that stats are coming. And if you go to the Arena Football League's website, a new website, by the way, they jumped ship from Arena Football USA to the AFL.com. If you go over there, the stats page is a work in progress. He said that there's a lot of backtracking it sounds like they're going to have to do, but there are actual stats up on the page, and finally in the right direction. Maybe in a couple weeks, once things kind of get settled in and figured out, we can actually maybe talk about some awesome stats and player achievements each week. I'd be all down for doing that. So we'll see as they increase that. He says it's a new system. He's got to teach some of his staff members this new stat system. So we'll have to give him time on that. All right. And as far as some other stuff this week, I wasn't aware of this. So obviously I said I was out of town. I was in Minneapolis. I went to the Mall of America. I did all that. I was supposed to be at an arena game, but I wasn't. Minnesota myth. Anyway. I was getting on my phone. I was checking on some arena updates because I was trying to, make sure I had some notes here and there, even though I was on vacation, for a show this week. And one thing that popped out to me was a tweet that was sent out by Off the Wall, who has been a fun follow on Twitter. And they essentially posted about substitutions during the Billings and Salina game. I was very curious about this because we had heard the rumors that Nashville didn't want to play with the Ironman rules. They wanted to play with like the free substitution rules. And it appears that, it was noticed by Off the Wall that this was happening, that they weren't really playing Ironman. They were playing, free substitution. And it turns out that before the game, and there's an article in 406mtsports.com on their website, pretty much about how an hour before the game, Outlaws coach Cedric Walker said that both teams were informed that the AFL was shifting from Ironman rules, where a majority of players play both ways, to free substitution. So this was a development that really shocked me. And as bummed as I am that it sounds like it is, the league is, setting the Ironman rules aside for the remainder of the season at least, that, it's very disappointing because I like the Ironman rules. I love the Ironman rules a lot. I think it makes the arena football game super unique and super fun. But I will say this. I get it. This league's been in transition. If moving to a more free substitution style of play helps this league out, at least to finish out the season, so be it. I hope this isn't a long-term thing. God, I hope not. I know the AFL has done that in the past where they've gone years with the free substitution type rules. And I mean, so be it. But I do prefer the Ironman rules, to be frank with you. And, as much as it sucks losing those, there's still enough uniqueness in the Arena Football League game that makes it the Arena Football League. I mean, the Arena Football League, first and foremost, to me, will always be unique because of those rebound nets. And, it's 8-man with a single high motion on the field at all times. And while the Ironman rules are fun, it doesn't completely ruin the game of arena football. It'll still be unique because of those nets and because of a lot of the history in this league. So you can't take that away. So I will ride it out for the rest of the year and hope that in the future they come back to this Ironman style of play, because I think it can work. And hopefully with another offseason for teams that are going to, hopefully, if this league survives and transition into next season, hopefully they can hash out like how teams need to be built with an Ironman style of play in mind, because I think it adds to the uniqueness of the Arena Football League. It is something that drew me in as a fan, as a young kid, seeing a player, go down and score a 30-yard touchdown pass, then on the next drive has to defend against the other team from doing the same thing to him. Like he got torched, or he torches a defensive back on the previous play. Well, there's redemption on the other back that was on him. I think it should be a staple of the Arena Football League. It makes it what it is. I just think the Ironman rules complement the game so much that, I'd rather see it with it than without it. But if that means, having arena football, I would rather have arena football even without Ironman rules than having no arena football. But I also want my players to be paid, coaches paid, refs paid. I want everybody, taken care of in this league that I love so much. And it sounds like hopefully we're trending in that right direction. I don't think I've seen any players, voice any concern over pay since everything's kind of shaken down. I'm sure maybe some guys are still waiting, but it seems like this league is finally getting back on track, moving in the right direction. Despite losing the Ironman rules, it's moving in the right direction. And we'll see as they finished out this season. So, what do you guys think? What are you looking forward to in the coming weeks? What are your thoughts on week 4, whether it be games, players? What did I miss that I didn't talk about? I'll talk about it with you down in the comments below. Obviously, guys, you can find the World of Football on all the different social medias: Facebook, X, Instagram. We're there. Hit us up. We love talking to you guys and interacting with you guys. Obviously, if you haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe and like button on this video. It helps the channel out. We're getting super close to hitting 900 subscribers. And, after that, it'll be getting to that next milestone of 1,000 subscribers, which would be completely awesome. You guys have been great, been giving me a lot of good feedback on doing these videos. If there's something I should add to doing arena videos that you haven't seen yet, let me know. I'm totally flexible in evolving this show as we go along, as the Arena League is going to be doing for the rest of the year. So there you go, guys. So until next week, we'll be talking more arena football, and I'll see you then.